topic, which is the foods that you eat, which is not just the calories. It's about the types of food that you eat, which is going to affect the hormonal balance, and also how often you eat. If you're eating all the time versus if you're only eating very infrequently, then you're going to have a different hormonal balance that is going to affect your weight as well.
In today's video, we're unveiling the best health tips from none other than Dr. Jason Fung, renowned nephrologist, New York Times best-selling author, and leading authority on intermittent fasting, low-carbohydrate diets, and metabolic health. Expect a powerful guide to his most effective, evidence-based strategies designed to help you lose weight, rebalance blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and think clearer. But before we continue, this content is provided for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider with questions about your health or medical condition. Do not disregard professional advice or delay seeking it because of something you have read here. As we currently know, watching your diet and truly knowing your body go hand in hand in achieving lasting health and well-being. By paying close attention to what you eat, tracking nutrient intake, portions, and how your meals affect your energy, you cultivate a deeper awareness that empowers smarter choices and prevents chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. Tuning into your body's signals, hunger, fullness, mood shifts, helps distinguish between physical and emotional cravings, reducing overeating and reinforcing a positive relationship with food. This mindful approach enhances digestion, mood, cognition, and even sleep, as it promotes a harmonious connection between mind and body. Ultimately, being intentional with diet and attuned to your body's cues equips you with the knowledge to tailor your lifestyle for sustainable energy, resilience, and long-term health. If you're ready for timeless, practical steps you can apply today, then you're in the right spot. First, we'll peel back the science behind timing and metabolic shifts that actually move the needle. Let's dive into Dr. Fung's absolute best health hacks. Your roadmap to sustainable transformation starts now. Control insulin. Don't just count calories. Let's go over the basic principle first. Maintaining control over your insulin levels is crucial, mostly since insulin is the key hormone that moves glucose into your cells for energy. Without balance, you may experience weight gain, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, fatty liver, and a reduced lifespan. The first tip, controlling insulin, not merely counting calories, is a cornerstone of Dr. Jason Fung's most effective health advice. As a nephrologist and leading voice on metabolic health, Dr. Fung explains that while a calorie is technically a unit of energy, not all calories are equal when it comes to how they influence insulin and fat storage. Eating 100 calories of broccoli won't provoke the same hormonal response as 100 calories of cookies. The latter spikes insulin dramatically, prompting your body to store more energy as fat and suppress fat-burning processes.
Body fat equals calories in minus calories out, right? And that's always true. But that's not the way it always works, right? Because that assumes that the calories can go in and out of the body fat, which is the storage, anytime it wants. But it can't. And it turns out that the main player is insulin. Insulin inhibits lipolysis. What that means is it stops you from getting the fat coming out. So if you have a lot of insulin, then you can't get the food back out this way.
Studies have shown that persistent high insulin or hyperinsulinemia encourages the body to hold on to fat. And when insulin stays elevated, the fat storage warehouse remains locked, preventing you from burning stored fat. Dr. Fung advocates instead for insulin-lowering strategies like time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting, and diets low in refined carbs and sugars. Evidence supports these approaches. Intermittent fasting improves insulin sensitivity and can help reverse metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes. while consuming fewer processed carbohydrates reduces overall insulin response and may decrease liver fat even before noticeable weight loss occurs. Contrary to a pure calories in, calories out mindset, metabolic research demonstrates that when insulin is controlled, fat burning increases, even if caloric consumption remains constant. Moreover, Dr. Fung emphasizes that responding to how your body reacts to different foods, measuring hunger, glucose stability, energy levels, is more reliable than blindly tracking calories. In practice, this means prioritizing whole foods rich in fiber and protein, minimizing ultra-processed carbs, and adopting eating windows that allow insulin levels to fall. By doing this, you're cutting calories. Plus, you're even strategically unlocking your body's ability to burn fat, stabilize blood sugar, and reclaim metabolic flexibility. Among the fiber-rich foods Dr. Fung has recommended are legumes, such as beans and lentils, whole grains like quinoa and steel-cut oatmeal, fruits, especially berries, eggs, seafood, grass-fed meats, nuts, avocados, olive oil, butter, and bone broth. These foods slow digestion, minimize insulin spikes, promote satiety, and support metabolic health. Due to that, they're considered staples for a well-rounded diet. Intermittent fasting. Next up, we have intermittent fasting. There have been numerous discourses over its benefits, but it's worth looking deep into what it has to offer for your health. Dr. Jason Fung emphasizes intermittent fasting not as a quick fix, but as a powerful metabolic tool rooted in decades of clinical experience and supported by research. As director of the Intensive Dietary Management Program and author of The Complete Guide to Fasting, Dr. Fung frequently highlights how structured eating windows, like the popular 16-8 model, give the body time to clear insulin, access stored fat, and trigger cellular renewal processes such as autophagy.
When you don't eat, when you're fasting, that's a signal to take those calories out of storage and to use it for energy. And our body has the ability to do that. There's nothing unusual about it. That's why you don't die in your sleep every single night. And this is just normal. You need to balance feeding and fasting. Part of the day you're going to store calories, part of the day you're going to burn calories.
Clinical trials reinforce these benefits. A 2018 study showed early time-restricted feeding improved insulin sensitivity and lowered blood pressure in pre-diabetic men, even when weight remained stable. Broader reviews confirm intermittent fasting's potential to reduce fasting glucose, insulin resistance, blood pressure, and markers of inflammation across those with metabolic syndrome. A more recent 2024 review further highlighted a 16-8 or 15-9 fasting pattern as one of the most effective strategies to enhance glycemic control in type 2 diabetes patients.
So how can you reverse it? Well, you need to lower insulin, and that comes down to the diet. Intermittent fasting can help, and so can reducing refined carbohydrates. In the linked video, I go into much more details. Check it out.
Dr. Fung explains that fasting isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter by aligning what and when we eat with our body's hormonal rhythms. When insulin drops during fasting, fat cells release stored energy and cellular repair is activated, benefits that calorie counting alone may not provide. In real-world examples, Fung's guidance has helped patients reverse insulin dependence and manage diabetes without medication. Whether it's time-restricted eating, alternate day fasting, or periodic extended fasts, Dr. Fung emphasizes choosing a method that's safe, sustainable, and suited to individual health goals. In your journey, consider starting with a 12 to 16-hour fasting window. Monitor how your body responds and adjust based on energy, hunger, and blood sugar. Intermittent fasting at its core is meant to be a strategically timed tool to amplify insulin control, fat burning, and long-term health. Now, before we move on, if you are looking to dive deeper into the top health tips, be sure to subscribe to the Vitazen Health newsletter linked below. Each week, we share expert-backed tips, delicious recipes, and actionable steps to help you live longer and feel your best delivered right to your inbox. Less sugar, less refined carbs. We now go over to our third crucial tip. Consuming less sugar and carbohydrates sounds straightforward, but there are a number of reasons as to why it's easier said than done at times. Among Dr. Fung's top advice is to cut back on sugar and refined carbohydrates, stressing that these foods drive rapid blood sugar and insulin spikes that push the body into fat storage mode. Notably, he points out that after the 1970s, dietary guidelines shifted toward low-fat, high-carb, which led to increased consumption of white bread, pasta, and potatoes, despite mounting evidence that such refined carbs raise insulin dramatically and contribute to obesity and metabolic disease. In his writing, he explains that even without overeating, a diet high in refined carbohydrates keeps insulin elevated, locking fat into storage and preventing its release.
When you eat them, your body absorbs this glucose. As you absorb the glucose, the blood glucose goes up and insulin also goes up. As insulin goes up, it takes this glucose and lets the cell use that for energy. And any excess, because when you're eating, you're taking more energy than you need at that specific point in time, then your body is going to store some of that energy. So if you're eating huge amounts of carbohydrate, and remember at the time, we told people to eat all carbohydrate, right? We said 60% of the diet should be carbohydrates. So therefore, if you're eating too much of that, then it's going to get turned into fat. You get fatty liver, because that's where you get the de novo lipogenesis. So you get big fatty liver. As you get fat in the liver, the liver doesn't want that fat. It wants to get rid of that fat. So then you get rid of it by exporting some of this fat out. You get this abdominal obesity.
Scientific studies back this up. Research shows that diets rich in added sugars and refined carbs can independently cause type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and cardiovascular disease, even in otherwise healthy individuals. Another study highlights how processed foods with refined grains fuel insulin resistance, increasing disease risk and even affecting cognitive performance over time. To counter this, Fung recommends replacing refined carbs with low glycemic whole food alternatives, as mentioned in our first tip, which helps slow digestion, tame insulin release, and support blood sugar balance. Eliminating added sugars is a top priority. Dr. Jason Fung also urges avoiding hidden refined carbs in condiments and ultra-processed foods, which subtly drive insulin up and undermine metabolism. So what exactly are the food items worth lessening your intake of? These include added sugars, which could be found in soda, juice, and sweets, refined grains like white flour, white rice, pasta, and certain baked goods, sugary cereals, flavored yogurts, packaged snacks, and processed meats, and also refined seed oils like sunflower, corn, canola, and other vegetable oils used in fast-fried or pre-packaged items. He notes that artificial sweeteners, while replacing sugar, can also disrupt insulin sensitivity and gut health. So you can frame it this way. If a food is packaged with a long ingredient list, a nutrition label, or marketing claims, it can likely impair metabolic function and should be avoided in favor of whole food made with less processing. Next up, Dr. Jason Fung emphasizes staying well hydrated and managing hunger spikes as essential tools for supporting fasting routines, metabolic function, and overall appetite control. He often reminds us, don't forget to drink water, as hydration is one of the simplest yet most overlooked strategies to curb false hunger and stabilize blood sugar. Studies confirm that people who drink less water are more likely to experience elevated fasting glucose and higher risk of prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, while proper hydration helps prevent blood sugar from concentrating and creating undesirable spikes.
And water is great. A lot of people do very well with that. It makes it a lot easier if you're staying hydrated because some of the hunger tends to go down.
When we're dehydrated, our brain can misinterpret thirst signals as hunger, leading to unnecessary snacking. Fung encourages starting the day with a large glass of cold water, sipping regularly throughout fasts, and optionally using sparkling water to ease stomach noise or cramps. This helps reduce the release of ghrelin, the hunger hormone, so you're less likely to feel weak or tempted during fasting windows. Additionally, research shows that drinking water before meals can make people feel fuller faster and eat fewer calories, promoting better hunger management. Staying hydrated also supports optimal blood sugar control. One study in nearly 4,000 people found that those who drank more than a liter of water per day had significantly lower risk of developing hyperglycemia. In practice, Dr. Fung suggests pairing hydration with other natural appetite aids, like unsweetened tea, coffee, cinnamon, or sparkling water, to help fade hunger pangs during fasting. By prioritizing hydration, you're not just preventing dehydration, you're supporting stable blood sugar, better fasting adherence, and calmer hunger signals. It is also worth remembering that even mild dehydration of just 1 to 2% can reduce cognitive performance, hurting your memory, focus, and mood, while more severe levels can cause dizziness, rapid heartbeat, low blood pressure, and confusion. As fluid volume drops, blood becomes thicker, forcing your heart to work harder and increasing the risk of heat-related illness, fainting, or even hypovolemic shock, a potentially life-threatening condition where vital organs don't receive enough oxygen-rich blood. So, make sure to drink enough water daily corresponding to your body size and activeness. Lastly, Dr. Fung emphasizes the importance of staying busy and avoiding food stimuli to support fasting and healthy eating habits. In The Complete Guide to Fasting, he recommends keeping occupied, ideally during workdays, so that the mind remains on tasks, not on hunger pangs. Dr. Fung explains that simply working through typical snack times helps prevent the cephalic phase response, the brain's anticipatory reaction to food sights or smells, which can trigger cravings and make fasting much harder. Studies on distracted versus attentive eating show precisely that. Research shows that you tend to eat less when you're not focused on your food, with participants seeing a slight decrease in food consumption during distracted meals. Conversely, Fung notes that avoiding food-related triggers, such as not cooking while fasting or staying away from snack-laden environments, makes sticking to a fast significantly easier.
So, here's the things that you should not do when you're fasting. Go on social media. On social media, you're going to see lots of people talking about what they ate, what they want to eat. You're going to see ads for food and so on, and it's going to make it a lot harder for you to fast. On the same lines, grocery shopping is not a good idea because you're surrounded by food.
A broader body of evidence highlights how environmental cues, like visible snacks or background food smells, can unknowingly influence food intake. Studies on ambience have shown that simple factors like portion size, food visibility, and even music can boost how much we eat. The practical tool, keeping busy, removes these triggers altogether. For instance, when absorbed in work or creative projects, hunger often fades. The distracting stimuli that trigger eating aren't there, and cravings pass. By pairing fasting with activity, work, hobbies, walks, you not only stay productive, but also reduce the likelihood of succumbing to false hunger. Dr. Jason Fung's tip is clear. Distraction is your friend during fasts. Keeping engaged in meaningful tasks and avoiding food triggers is a straightforward, scientifically backed strategy to manage appetite, reduce impulsive snacking, and make fasting feel natural, not forced. At the same time, keeping yourself busy can also help you get in a good amount of physical activity in your schedule. depending on what you allot your time on. Whether you're looking to lose weight, reverse metabolic disease, reduce inflammation, or simply feel more energetic and in control, these strategies can serve as your roadmap. Don't forget, lasting change happens one habit at a time. Start where you are, track how your body responds, and build progressively. If you found value in this video, check out this next video to learn more actionable steps to improve your health, fight illness, and increase your life's longevity. Here's to empowered living, optimized health, and unlocking your body's full potential. Because health starts with your choices.